How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Two Dudes Talk Music. My name is Raf. This is my co-host Kyle, aka Beer Buddy, and we are the Two Dudes Who Talk Music. We do regular interviews and live streams with musicians, mainly from Australia, but sometimes from across the world, and that's what we've got for you today. So, like, share, subscribe if you're into that stuff. We also do reaction videos over on the Metal Ruse YouTube channel. So if you like that stuff, go and check out that. If you want your metal news, all that kind of good stuff, album reviews, things like that, Metal Ruse has you covered on all that stuff. So make sure you go and check that stuff out.
Beautiful
But
team there. Beautiful team.
amazing team, Michael and the guys over there at Metal Ruse. But today we've got a nice special one for you. Now, you may recall earlier in the year that your boy here went on a little trip around the US of A. While I was over there, I got to meet someone whose name I had seen around in the art side of things, a gentleman by the name of Insane E. Now, he has done a lot of work for artists in the horrorcore scene, and also I found out in our interview with him, Attila. He's done some work with those guys, some artwork and some promotional material with those guys. But he's an incredible artist, and he is also a musician. He has released a number of albums himself, and he has a new one that he's working on to come out early next year. And I met him when I was at Astronomicon in Detroit. We got talking, we sparked up a bit of a friendship, and he has been gracious enough to join us for a chat for a couple of hours today. Well, not today, it was pre-recorded, but you know what I mean. And we are bringing that to you guys to talk all about that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is our interview with Insane E. Welcome. Should we call you,
Hey,
what do you prefer? We just call you E? Is that what you prefer?
Eric,
E-
whatever you prefer,
Eric.
E or Eric, yeah,
All
good.
right, awesome. Well, thank you very, very much for joining us, man. I really appreciate that time differences can make these things a bit tricky to work out. Kyle's
Yeah, what
cracking
time
his
is it
one.
over
I'm gonna
there?
crack my one. It is
Cheers.
10 a.m. in the morning for Kyle, 9 a.m. for me.
Right, bright and early.
Yeah, bright and early. But it's a Saturday, so
Yeah, that's it.
we
Yeah,
can have a nap if we need to or whatever later on.
I
We're
can't.
good. We're
But
good.
we live large.
Oh, that's right. It's yes. Happy birthday for your son, Kyle.
Yeah,
It's his
Max's
today.
birthday today. Big shout out to Max. Happy
hey,
birthday,
happy
little buddy.
birthday, Max.
But
Yeah.
yes, thank you very, very much for joining us, my man. Now, a lot of people, even if they don't know your name, will probably know some of your art, especially if they are fans of, kind of underground music, horrorcore
Mhm.
stuff. If they run in juggalo circles, they will almost certainly have seen some of your work somewhere. Uh,
Most likely, yeah, for sure.
your artwork is how I first sort of learn your name and sort of became aware of your stuff. And then later on, I learned that you also do music as well. So I wanted to ask, what was the first kind of thing? Did you first take an interest in doing art, or was it music was more the initial thing for you when you started getting into those creative pursuits?
Well, I always say that I was an artist since birth. So like
Mhm.
I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil, and I picked that up. I wouldn't say I was always good at it, but any kid who starts out drawing, you're gonna have that, I guess. And then I just kept going with that, and I never stopped. So I'm still not where I want to be with the artwork, but it's definitely come a long way since I started.
Oh man,
But
it's incredible. Like the stuff that you do is
thank
really
you.
good. Like I had to rep the shirt
Yeah, I know. I
today.
see you're wearing
I
one of
had
my
to rep rep.
drawings there.
Yep, the Astro 6 t-shirt.
Yeah, that's where we met. Yeah.
Yes, it
That's mad.
absolutely is. It absolutely is. Yeah, so for those watching, you may know I went on a US trip earlier this year. I went kind of whipped around for about 6 weeks over there, and that included a stop at Twisted's Pop Culture Convention Astronomicon in Detroit. Got talking to Eric because I knew the name, as I said, from the art, and I saw his store there. I went up and said, "Hey," we kind of got talking. And if I remember correctly, you were like floored that I'd come so far for Astronomicon.
Yeah, I've always loved Australia. It's been a dream of mine to visit, and just I don't know. I'd like to go on a walkabout and do kind of just I love animals and nature and all kinds of crazy shit that people tend to be afraid of over here. I definitely want to go experience that at some point in my life. So it just knowing that you took the effort to travel here from there, I know what it takes. It takes a lot of effort to actually make that happen. And my buddy Ned, who runs Magic Ninja Australia down there,
Shout out to
he
Ned.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, he made a trip out here a couple times, and it's just hearing the story of what you guys had to go through to get here and to make it happen. It's just incredible. So I have a lot of respect for you for making that trip. You know,
Well, thank you, thank
I
you,
hope you had a good time at Astro. It's
bro.
always a
Well, I
good
mean,
time for me. Right?
it's just wild to me because like that trip was basically Disneyland 3 times over, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I got to come over and do Astronomicon, which was like that's like Disneyland for juggalos. Then I got to go to Disney World in Florida. I got to go to actual Disney World, and then I got to go to WrestleMania in LA. So I'm like, you know what I mean? It was
just
just bang, bang,
crossing them
bang.
off the
Like,
bucket list. Yeah,
absolutely, man,
yeah.
absolutely. And and you actually gifted me this
Oh, sweet.
edition
Yeah.
of Juggalo Coloring
Oh,
Book Greatest Hits, signed as well.
that's mad.
Let me try and find the shit. Signed, there we go. Signed on there and everything.
Yeah, that's how I
Which is
really got started working with ICP and Twisted along the way. You
mm,
know, I started selling those at the gathering of the Juggalos.
yep.
I started selling them in '05, but
Hmm.
I took the prototype to the gathering in 2004,
So you can see
and
some
then
Hold
old
on, let
artwork
me
in
go to your
here.
screen, Raf.
Yep, we'll make that big so people can see. But
yeah,
yeah,
that Lotus Totem is one of my favorites for sure.
that's awesome, man. And you got like some great
Oh,
Malenko
wow.
bulldogs there, and yeah, man, like it's amazing. It's really really
I'm going to have to
cool.
find that
And
colouring book for my kids. They'd love that.
well,
I will
you
send you
order it
one.
Oh,
at
really?
I will
That'd
send
be
you one.
awesome.
Yeah, after we done
www.
here, make sure I get your contact info and I'll send you one.
Oh, please, that'd be awesome.
www.therealinsaneeric.com,
Yep.
and you can order your own copies of that as well if you like. And I think, man, I was checking out the website this week. You got your albums on there just for download?
A couple of the older ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any of my new stuff up there for download because
Mm.
I'm still selling that stuff. But the
Yeah,
older
yeah.
out of print ones are, I like to put them up so people can, and they're not the best quality. Some of the older ones, but it's if people like what I do now, I like people to be able to go back and hear what I used to do. So where I came
Yeah.
from, sort of stuff. So I started doing music in 2004, and and I've evolved a lot over the last 20 years. So, or 19 anyway, I guess it is still, but
Well, man,
um,
that's how
The
I
better
ended up
part of
finding
20
you. It
years,
was like,
man. Like it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And
mhm.
so you've released, yeah, as you said, you've
yeah,
released several things over the years
Raf
there.
shot me the stuff, and he was just like, check it out, and it hit me in a sweet spot because I'm a massive like Cottonmouth Kings fan.
Oh yeah, I got a big
Yeah.
campaign logo tatted on my chest.
Oh, my
Yeah,
boy, man, I love it, love it. Like, and you just hit that sweet spot for me, right? Like, and it just gave me those vibes, and I was just sitting here
for sure.
vibing on it.
That's
And
definitely a big influence for us,
that's
for me and my whole
mad. Yeah,
crew.
well,
Yeah.
dude, it. Yeah, I love every bit of it. Like,
Mm.
Oh yeah.
It's great stuff. It really, really is. And it stands up there with, like, there's so much music in whether you want to specifically go like horrorcore or you want to spread it to
Mhm.
like more broadly underground rap. There is just so much talent there that doesn't seem to get the appreciation that it deserves, right? I mean, that's something that I mean we experience a
I
similar
feel
vibe
like
here in Australia with like the metal scene and a lot of our stuff out here. You know, there's so much talent that
yeah,
just kind of doesn't get
with
recognized.
there being it became a huge thing. Now everybody's doing it, so it's hard to find. When you find something you like, you dig further into that, but
Mm,
like it's definitely I don't want to say oversaturated, but it seems like now everybody's trying to do, especially the underground rap now, and so I don't know how it is with metal bands, but it's you know there's enough for everybody, so you can
mm,
mm,
find something you like. If you're into that, you find that, and you know what you like, and there's enough. So,
mm.
but I don't know where I'm going with this, but
no,
sorry.
No,
oversaturation
man.
of the market. You were dead on. Like, we have the exact
Yeah.
same thing with the metal scene over here.
Yeah,
It is literally an oversaturation of the market where it's just so much to pick from,
yeah.
Yeah, so
and then
it's
people
also makes
start
it hard
really
for
getting
anybody
picky.
that's yeah, it makes it hard for any of us to really to break through and make noise with what we're doing because you know people on Twisted's level, they obviously don't have to really promote as much because people already know about them. But like people like me, where I'm at, it's like I constantly have to be trying to figure out a way to stay relevant or stay in people's ears, and it's hard because especially when you're doing everything else, having a family and trying to do the art and everything, it's so hard to just keep it going. So
Well, that's where a lot of like the collabs and shit like that come into it, though, isn't it?
yeah,
So it's like you
absolutely.
did that one with Blaze Your Dead Homie. I love that track. Like
Oh, thank you.
that's an absolute banger. You know, like I've seen him featured on other stuff too. And
Mhm.
do you find like the sort of artwork helps you sort of make those links with those collaborations and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that and keep moving
I
forward?
think that I think absolutely being a part of the art with Twisted and Magic Ninja and before that and everything, it has helped bring my music with it. So it's kind of carried me along musically as well because Twisted will take me on tours or put me on mini tours and put me on songs and just just being willing to help me along the way, having my back in the situation. It's like I help them, they help me. It's kind of like we're a team. So it's benefited me being a graphic designer in the underground because that gets more people to see my shit, and then they were interested in whatever else I do. Some of them are, anyway. There's
Yeah, well,
still
they know the name, right? Then
thousands
they've
of
heard the
people.
name, and then they're like, "Oh, he does
Yeah,
music too," and it
right.
just keeps that ball rolling. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely given me a lot of help on both ends. There's still so many people that have no idea that I do music. So I still got a lot of work to do to reach out and get my music in as many ears as I can get it in. But the artwork is helping carry that. So it's when people come to my merch booth, they see the stuff, the design, and that catches their eyes. And then or they see me on stage and they want to pick up the album or something. That helps. But the designs at the merch booth is really what gets people interested, I think. So
Yeah, and it's incredible work. Like it's very, very eye
thank you.
catching.
Looks
I've
amazing.
got a number of friends that work in graphic design and do they're visual artists, and they've
Mhm.
like I'm always showing off your stuff to
Thank you.
them and being like, man, you gotta check this guy's stuff out, and um, but I mean, so you. Did you grew up in Detroit, or did you like are you elsewhere?
No.
Like, what's your?
My hometown is East Palestine, Ohio,
Mhm,
um, which is 2 hours south of Cleveland on
mhm,
the border of Pennsylvania and West Virginia. And I don't know if anybody remembered or heard about the train derailment that happened.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That was my hometown.
Oh
Oh
shit!
So
wow, no shit.
um, yeah, and I moved up here about almost 4 years ago. But my whole family, like my brothers and both my brothers, they live within a mile of that or a mile and a half of that area, and they
Shit!
work within a mile of that place.
Jesus
And like
Christ.
all my nieces and nephews live there in town. Like they're my whole family's from that small area. It's a very small town,
Are they doing
situation.
all right in the aftermath of
Everybody seems
everything?
to be
Like,
good. I haven't heard anything about it for a while because I
mhm,
feel like it got buried in the news cycle. But and I feel like everybody that I talk to is okay.
mhm.
I think that the problem is that the stuff went in the soil and that it's going to be a long term type thing. Like
Yeah, yeah,
10 years down the road, people will start developing tumors and things like that. I don't. I hope not, but that's kind of what I'm worried about. I don't think it's
yeah.
much of a. It was definitely devastating for the city when it happened, but
Mm,
now everybody
mm,
seems to be getting back to normal. So, and it didn't affect my older brother has his own well on our family property, and he hasn't seen any effects of like the animals dying or anything in the water,
mm.
things like that. But people that were really really close to the blast, the burn site, there was definitely some dead animals happening, popping up here and there, and I think the city well was okay, but I don't know. But it seems to have
Yeah.
died down, a
Well,
Jesus,
lot.
I mean,
scary
it's really hard
shit,
for us to
man.
know over here because like we get parts of the story over here.
Yeah.
Like we don't get
Yeah.
the news cycle over here doesn't cover everything the same way
Oh,
that it
for
does
sure.
over there.
Well, and it was
because it's not
kind of
relevant.
not.
It's not like it's not impacting Australians, and so
Yeah.
the Australian news
Yeah.
cycle kind of goes, "Hey, this is a thing that happened," and they might follow it up for like a couple of times over the week, and then they kind of like move
Yeah,
on
but
to
it'd
other
be,
Well,
stuff,
it'd be,
right?
it'd
that's
be the
not too
equivalent
far
of
from
like
what
a.
actually happened here. You know, they
Mm,
did the same kind of shit here. It got very quick.
mm.
It'd be the equivalent of
Because
what happened after the bushfires and the floods over here.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
You know
right.
like
what I
yeah,
mean? It just gets lost in the whole cycle of things because
Hmm.
it only really affected our backyard and even then it's even blipped off our radar.
yeah. Oh, we're gonna have another bad season this year for
Oh yeah,
sure,
we
man.
are. We are.
It's we
Yeah,
had a few really wet years, and now this year's going to be a lot drier and very very hot. So I think we're in for a bad bushfire
Mm.
season this year. But anyway, let's bring it back
that's terrible. Yeah,
to music stuff.
yeah,
So you were saying
for
that you
sure.
were about 2005 ish. You were doing stuff like you were selling stuff at the Gathering, or is
Yeah,
that
I mean, I started selling the coloring book at the Gathering in 2005.
yeah?
I've been going to the Gathering for a few years before that.
Mhm.
But I took my prototype of the coloring book to the Gathering in '04 and had everybody in Psychopathic Records, give me the blessing of, hey, yes, you can do whatever you want with this. Made
Okay,
sure that I got everybody to sign it, from Violent J, Shaggy, Twisted, Blaze,
that's
everybody
awesome.
signed it. I stood in line for autographs and waited and said, here, what do you guys think of this? Do you care if I print these and sell them? And everybody gave me their blessing. Alex Abyss, everybody from Psychopathic back then. And so I started selling them the next year, and it was immediately a hit at the gatherings. Every year I would take 500, 600 books and just sell out in a couple of days out of a book bag, just walking around hustling out of my book bag. I had a
Man,
couple,
that is
couple of my homies helping me with
awesome.
it, but yeah,
That's
it's
really
been
cool,
surreal.
man.
To
And
be
that I mean
And
to
that
be
then,
fair, I could only imagine like what I'd probably do with it after my kids colouring. Have a you know what it
right?
is. You know me. I'm gonna end up colouring in that book where in the
Oh
middle
yeah.
of the night. It's gonna be
Well,
awesome.
yeah.
people took them and started like getting tattoos out of them, and now
Oh shit.
I don't know if you know a dude named Radham from Australia. He goes by Radham Rude, I think is what his
Oh,
online handle is.
we'll
But
look it up.
he's a juggalo who came to the Gathering years and years ago from Australia, and he's
Oh
got
wow.
one of my tattoos out of the coloring book on his arm. And
That's
so
very
like
cool.
it's just crazy, people getting them all over the world tattooed on them, and it's mind blowing to me. We're standing in the crowd at future gatherings, and I'm like, hey, I drew that. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
what's happening here? And then 2010 comes around, and ICP hired me for graphic design, so
That was
it
going to be
turned
my
into
next
that.
question. So when
Yeah,
did you start doing actual design for those guys? So it was
yeah,
2010, you said, right?
yep.
Cool.
And that was kind of perfect timing because I went to school for graphics in 2008.
Mhm.
And before that, I had no clue what I was doing graphic design wise. So I did 2 years at a graphic school and got my degree and everything,
Mhm.
4.0, perfect attendance, high honors and shit. So,
My
um,
man.
yeah, as soon as it's like,
Nice.
as soon as I graduated, Psychopathic was reaching out to me to say, hey, we want you to do some design work for us. I wasn't the main graphic designer for them, but I
Mhm.
handled a lot of stuff like flyer work and things like that. Eventually got to do album designs, a couple different album designs and things like Jump Steady's spoken word album, The Road, and like the When I'm Clowning single and shit, like just some stuff that was really cool to be a part of. And then when everything fell apart with Twisted and Psychopathic,
Mhm.
they were kind of screwing me over financially as well.
Mm.
So I took the out and was like, I'm going, George asked me if
Mm.
I do some designs for them, and I said absolutely. He said, I'm not what did he say? He said, oh fuck, now my brain's blanking out. He said I'll keep you busy. And
Well, I
from that
mean,
moment on, I haven't had time to think.
like,
So
bro, the amount
That's
of
awesome.
the output from Magic Ninja Entertainment since launching has just been insane.
mm,
Like, it really has. Like, I can remember, I don't, was it the first year that they launched and they said, there's a new album from someone every month. And
yeah, we
that
started building the
label,
roster.
yeah, building the
And
roster, signing all these different people, and there was like a new album coming out from the label every single month, and culminating with the Year of the Sword uh,
yeah,
album, I think it was, and like that was like that year, like I was right there for that. Like I was picking up everything through Ned with his Magic Ninja Australia store,
Yeah.
with that hook up there, which was awesome. And like it was quantity, but it was also quality coming out of that
Right.
label, big time, big time.
Oh,
And uh, the and yeah, it's just ramped up. It's gone gangbusters. There's so much
yeah,
stuff
we
coming
don't
out of
have
that label.
as many artists on the label as we did back then, I think. Or well, I mean, it's about the same, kind of, pretty much the same. You know, we
Yeah,
lost
people
Lars.
coming and going and stuff, you know.
Yeah, right. But yeah, like it's nonstop on my end of things, and I don't handle everything.
Mhm.
You know, I handle a major chunk of it, but we also get a lot of artwork and stuff from other artists because I feel like if I did everything, it would all look the same or it would
Yeah,
just get redundant, you know. So it's great to have other people helping out.
definitely.
So
Like it's you know you've definitely got like a style to a lot of your stuff,
Oh,
mm,
and that's it's great. But like yeah, you make a very good point. Like if you're doing everything, then yeah, all the output's going to start looking the same, and maybe your style isn't quite the right vibe for to
well,
match
yeah,
what they're going for with the album or
and I'm
something,
not
boils
right?
down to
able to
that
put it.
oversaturation again.
Yeah, absolutely. And and even though I do handle a large chunk of it, it's still if I was doing it all, it wouldn't all get done. So
Yeah,
that's another thing. So, you know, it's time consuming. If I was trying to focus on everything, I wouldn't be able to put enough effort into
into
certain
anything.
projects that need it.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and I'm still stretched pretty thin right now, especially because it's like me and a couple other, like two other guys working on shit with us. But, I'm mainly the hub of it all. You know, everything comes to me and then we send it out to the
I'll
print.
I'll get you in touch with a couple of guys over here.
Hey, we could use some
Yeah,
help. I
more
mean,
more work, more
I'm sure,
work.
I'm
yeah.
sure, I'm sure they'd be very, very keen to jump on and help out if they can. So I'll try and do that
You
for
know,
you.
Oh
like
yeah,
even
I know
if
who you're
it's
talking
just like
about.
a couple shirt designs here and there,
Mm.
that's big help on our end. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if the designs are good, then they'll sell,
Bit of
and
a
we'll keep using
paradox, eh,
them.
Raf?
So
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah. No, we got a guy. I know a guy who's done like designs for bands I've been in, and you know, t-shirt designs and logo designs and you know all that kind of stuff. So and album artwork and all that stuff. So I'm sure he'd be keen to help out with that. I'll be able to sort that out later.
I've got to
But
ask though, just real quick, where does sort of a lot of this inspiration come from? Because we got one of your decals in the corner for when I'm clicking over to your beautiful screen of your beautiful face and that. It's got the psychedelic mushroom that's on your Facebook page.
yeah,
Like
that's a
where do you sort of like yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there.
yeah.
Where do you like where do those because that straight away gives me like a socket like the purples and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Really gives me like and I'm colorblind as shit, so hopefully I've got those colors right. But
yeah.
gives me like a mad sort of Alice in Wonderlandish sort
Well,
of
I'm very big in the psychedelics.
nice.
Not not I wasn't always, but that mushroom design started it came out around 2006 2007 originally, and that's diving into like mushrooms and acid. I don't do hard drugs. I like psychedelics. I've never done like heroin or anything like that, but um, you know, I'm very into open consciousness. There's just universal connectivity and consciousness expansion. So, you know, I grew up on Pink Floyd. I grew up on Tom Petty. I grew up on psychedelic bands like that really kind of guided my way towards that, I suppose. And then when I started experimenting with psychedelics, I feel like my artwork took a giant leap towards the more colorful explosion type trippy stuff, you know. And you know, I've always been a fan of artists like Alex Gray and Jackson Pollock and Andy Warhol, more psychedelic, Salvador Dali and things like that.
Mhm.
And so I feel like a lot of my artistic inspiration comes from that Pink Floyd, you know, Dolly, you know, Alex Gray shit. Um,
It's really weird that you sort of stepped into this sort of rap
right.
realm. You
I
know
don't
what I
belong
mean?
in the
Like
rap
you
game.
just
I
rattled
don't.
off a whole bunch of bands
I
that,
don't
that
think
for
anyone.
me
Yeah,
that
you
well,
absolutely belong in the rap game,
well
man. Like
yeah
you
yeah.
got
I
you
mean
got
I mean
chops.
in today's sort of rap game, but when you spit out a whole bunch of bands like that, but then you're a KMK fan, and those guys weren't just
Mhm.
rappers. They brought out the whole instrumental thing, and they really focused
Right.
on their instrumental stuff as well, which is what I fucking appreciated about them so much.
Hmm.
And that is so cool that that I guess it worked for you, and it leapt you
Yeah.
into those bounds of artistic notion.
Did you ever watch the Cottonmouth Experience, the first one? It was like a DVD CD that Cottonmouth Kings put out at the same time, and
I'm
they
gonna find
it
it.
went together. It was a completely psychedelic version of a lot of their songs.
Oh
So
Oh,
they
shit!
they
I
like
have to find
yeah,
that.
it's amazing.
so it's
And
like
if I don't know if you
a
guys are
Yellow Submarine, but a KMK
yeah,
version
well,
kind of thing.
very like visually, like you put the DVD in. What I like to do was put the DVD in and then sync it up on the computer at the same exact time, and so you got like a surround sound situation going on.
Whoa.
And the video that they made mixed with the Windows Media Player visualizations, it just creates this entire experience. And that's why they call it the Cottonmouth Experience. The first one was amazing, and that was, back in like 2005, something
Shit.
like that.
I think my first Cottonmouth experience, I was sitting around at my old plug's house, and he whacked on a VHS, and it was a festival, and the Circle Jerks were playing, and then it was like Cottonmouth Kings, and then I think Cypress Hill might have been at this thing too. And yeah, the Circle Jerks were terrible. Get out of my house. But I saw Cottonmouth come on. I saw all these dudes get up there, and I was just like, man, these guys are next level. Like,
Just fell in love, right?
oh, dude,
Yeah.
100%, 100%.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was, yeah. But then when you listen to most of the Cottonmouth sort of stuff and rap now, it's a lot delved into the psychedelic experience and tapping into
Yeah.
like that spatial realm, I guess.
Hmm. I mean, it's definitely taken a turn nowadays, especially with it just being D-Loc now, basically. But the glory days of the Cottonmouth Kings is definitely where I came from in the rap game. I grew up as a juggalo and doing karaoke of ICP and Twisted, and and then eventually started rapping, and those influences definitely played a part. I was always into Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and things like that, the new metal stuff as
Nice,
well.
nice.
So the first fucking time I ever seen Linkin Park was at a Cottonmouth King show. They were opening for Cottonmouth Kings.
No
Oh
So
hell
shit.
yeah,
yeah!
No
and
shit.
that was 2000.
Oh,
Um,
so that was
I mean,
before Hybrid Theory came out or just after?
it was right before Hybrid Theory because that at that point,
whoa.
Linkin Park wasn't even on the radio. 2 weeks after that
Yeah.
show, One Step Closer hit the radio, number one hit.
No shit.
So, so yeah, is we had the demo tape from Hybrid Theory. It was One Step Closer and With You were the only two songs on the tape, cassette tape. And I remember it was Cottonmouth Kings were headlining. Too Rude and Dog Boy was on the show. Corporate Avenger was on the show. Linkin Park was on the show, and Rehab was on the show. And
Wow.
from then, I was a huge fan of all of them bands from that show on.
I mean, because that's
So,
crazy. Because like I
Fuck
remember, man. I
me. That
remember
is
because
awesome.
we were like Kyle and I. Uh, we were in high school when One Step Closer came out,
Yeah,
and
man.
yeah,
yeah,
you're right. It was just such an explosion. It was like
absolutely.
that came out, and like it was immediately number one. It was all
Mm.
anyone was talking about, and it was like everything was Linkin Park.
Nobody's ever heard anything like it at that point. It was like fucking
Yeah,
new
well, it
and
was. I
perfect.
mean,
Yeah.
the two vocalist thing was very novel for a lot of people.
Hmm.
And really
The
leaning into it.
Yeah, like leaning into that and having like a band with two vocalists that, and I know that. I mean, I don't know how it was in the early days. I know by the time that Meteora came out, I think Mike Shinoda was playing some guitar or some piano at different points on stage.
Yeah,
But
Shinoda was always mainly behind like writing at least all the music and
mm,
playing a lot of the instruments. But then he was definitely the main drive behind the writing of the music.
mhm.
And I don't know the story, but I feel like, or what I heard was they wanted him to not be a rapper in the band and just play an instrument. And they were like, no, this is who we are. You signed us like this.
Yeah.
You wanted us for what we sounded like. This is what we are.
Well, he
So
stated all that on the Fort Minor album that he did, and
yeah, right.
that was
Yeah, exactly.
legit. That album,
Oh, I love Fort Minor shit.
dude,
Yeah.
legit. Like the whole thing. Like
Mhm.
it was an unfortunate thing that I've never heard of Fort Minor before. Mike Shinoda sort of jumped onto it, but
Right.
regardless,
No, I mean,
man,
I, I
they are legit.
I would note Mike Shinoda as one of my favorite MCs of all time. So yeah, definitely.
What was that like seeing them at that show the week before it
Mind
sort of went
blowing.
number one? Were they just like that standout bullshit good act? And as soon as you saw them, you were just like, yeah, these guys are just going to be something else.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew at that moment that it was mind blowing because their stage performance was epic, and like that was the only time I saw Linkin Park ever it live. But it just captivated you, and I feel the same way about Rehab at the same time too, but that's a totally different avenue of music. But but Linkin Park, they were an opening band on the Cottonmouth Kings tour, and people don't generally pay attention to opening bands, but back then it was different. Back in 2000, it was a different ball game than it is now. So we were there for the entire show. We were there for the experience. We loved it. Me and my brother. I think my mom took us to that because I was still in high school then. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was mind blowing. I don't think I still have the demo tape. My brother does though. I know he does. Um,
Wow. I
That's
wonder what that'd go for
crazy.
these days.
Jeez, that'd.
right.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's got to be a crazy collector's item now. Wow.
Yeah, far out.
And that was the same year that Cottonmouth Kings High Society came out as well. And I got a demo tape from that as well. And
Jeez.
Man,
That's
that
so
period,
much.
like the 90s through sort of the early 2000s was really something else.
Man,
oh
there
yeah.
was so much going on in music, and it was pre-internet. So anything that came out for like,
Mhm.
and this is my personal opinion, anything that sort of made waves in that period, they were legit. Like
Mhm.
they were the creme de la creme. Like they had peaked. They would peak just before the internet, and then when the internet came out, they had nothing but the full ability to put all their stuff out there because they had backing of record companies and shit like that, and
Mm.
everyone was on the forefront. I mean, you look at like we went through the whole new metal thing. New metal were
Yeah.
just sort of tipping in pre-internet.
The explosion
That's
of
right.
Yeah,
genres that was present there. People started mixing with like anything. They'd throw all different genre combinations together and come up with all sorts of weird
Mhm.
and wonderful music. And that,
some of my favorite
yeah,
collabs, like Cottonmouth Kings and the Cypress stuff, and like the
Oh yeah.
put the blunt down. That song cracks my ass up every time I listen to it, and
I liked all their shit that they did with Tech Nine and everything too. So
mm,
yeah,
like yeah, like uh, just in general, and especially like even wow, I mean back to the new metal shit like Corn and Limp Bizkit collabs type
yeah.
shit like that.
Even Ice
yeah,
Cube, Corn and Ice Cube.
yep,
Yeah.
They did two collabs with him. They done the Fuck Dying one as well.
yeah. Well, but like, and that's what I love. Like, I think that's one of the reasons that new metal went kind of crazy as it did for a while because you had metal was, you know, a lot of people that were drawn to metal was disaffected youth from generally not just generally more white parts of society, and a lot of rap and hip hop was drawing to a lot of the disaffected youth of the African American areas of
Yeah.
society, and even the Latino elements of society as well started to come in through that. And yes, there was obviously some crossover here and there, but that's kind of predominant. And then when you kind of bring that together with new metal, it was just such a powerhouse of
Mhm.
that. And when you had those bands out there like Limp Bizkit and Korn that were doing stuff that had elements of both cultures brought together in such a powerful way, that's I think really what made new metal such a force
Hmm.
for those few years before it like grunge. You know, once grunge kind of caught on and it started to become the thing, and everyone was trying to do grunge. It's like no, then that kind of goes downhill. And same thing
Right.
happened with nu metal, right? Like you had this explosion, and then the labels were like, "Hey, we want everyone to do this," and so bands started doing that to
Just
get
played
signed.
it
But I
out.
think
Yeah.
it became and it just became like and that's
Mm.
it's just crazy to me when you look at it. And then you got other bands like you look at the UK and you got bands like Skindred taking doing like their own version of that with the you know with almost those kind of rap like what's the word I'm looking for, like almost the Rasta elements in there, or those kind of
Yeah.
like kind of those that side of it in there too. And it's just like that was like we're never going to get another period I think like that in the same way,
Right.
because it's happened now, it's out of the bottle, right? But every so often bands will come along and they'll mix some genres together in a way that is totally unique and unlike anything that and I mean there's
That
always
was
the
like
argument it's
Sublime
always
though.
been done,
Remember
right?
Sublime?
Oh yeah. Sublime. I love Sublime.
Yeah. Are they back together?
They got a new
uh,
singer, Rome. His name's Rome. They're
Oh,
touring with him
cool. I'm gonna have to
since
check that
Brad,
out.
because the original singer died a long time ago. But
Oh yeah.
Bradley.
Yeah.
But yeah, yep, they're still doing shows though.
Mad. I'm glad they're
so
back
And
together.
let's
yeah, yeah,
so I
pretty
want
dope.
I wanted to ask you what is, and I know asking some an artist to pick like their favorite thing or the thing they're most proud of is kind of impossible. But what are some of the art projects that you've worked on that you're most proud of, and that you want to
Whew.
point to and be like, yes, I fucking did that. That's me.
I would say one that is probably most recognizable is the Magic Ninja Entertainment logo. Um,
Okay. Yep.
you know,
I love that. Same way, upside down, right side up. Like it's a whole
yeah.
vibe. I dig that.
So yeah, Jamie sent me some sketches to work on for that. We had a lot of different ideas going into that logo, and it ended up being what it is, and I love the way it turned out. Um, but just I don't know. One of my favorite projects that's probably not as well known is the ROC's Digital Voodoo, um, which was a crazy cover that I ate a bunch of mushrooms one night, and then the next morning I designed his album.
That's hang on. I think I think
Love
I've
that
got.
shit.
I think
Love that
I've
shit.
got. I think I got that one. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna check if it's the one I think it is.
Send it to me and I'll edit it into the video. I'll edit the.
Yes. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the first. Was that the first one he did on
It was his first
Magic
Magic
Ninja?
Ninja
The
full
first.
length. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've got that. I remember buying that. I'm like, that artwork just it grabbed me,
and
man. It really did.
I'm trying to think of like things that stand out. Continuous Evolution of Life's Question Marks with Twisted was a awesome project to work on with Jamie, and we just kind of got creative with that one. But it was cool because they got painted up like that with the blue demons. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
And
man.
we
Because yeah,
we spent like they got
when they got painted,
oh
like
yeah,
I was like, man, that's heavy. Like that
it
takes a
took like
lot of
12
work.
hours for that. It took them
Jeez.
like 12 hours just to get painted, and then they shot the video for Kill Somebody
Oh yeah.
that same
Cool.
day. So so everything that you see of them with that paint on was just all in that one day, and then so we kind of utilized that for the artwork for the album, and they did a different paint scheme for the album as well too on a different day. But it was an epic thing to be a part of, really. Um, but it also being Life's Question Marks, the album, my logo is a question mark, so it was kind of like
Yeah.
just kind of like a hill home for me. I felt it. Um,
Has there ever sort of been the thought of, do you get really hit up from other people like in other genres to sort of do a lot of artwork and stuff like that? Because like I got one band in mind. They're a psychedelic band, and I reckon they'd love some of your artwork.
Hmm. I do get yeah, I do a lot of stuff for people outside of Magic Ninja, and like I've worked on stuff for Attila. I've worked on stuff for I've done stuff for Jelly Roll. I've done stuff for Saving Abel, which is an older band. I've done stuff for Ritz. I've done stuff for not not so much of the rock stuff, but I work on some stuff for Attila here and there. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do get hit up by a lot more underground artists than mainstream stuff. But working with George, kind of he pitches me things here and there from the bands that he works with and all that. So I get to do a lot of fun stuff that is outside of my wheelhouse because personally I don't do. I, I'm comfortable with Magic Ninja. You know, I grew up as a juggalo, so everything I do just kind of fits into place there.
Yeah.
It works for me. It's easy. It's not always easy, but you know, it's my wheelhouse. So when it comes to doing things for Attila, I always feel like I fall short. I don't always provide them with what could be considered mind blowing graphics. So I have to break out of my comfort zone a lot, and I'm working on that and working with George and Jamie a lot on artwork or him pitching me things to work on is helping me evolve outside of my box because I need to get out of that comfort zone and start doing more interesting stuff.
Well, but that's cool that you've got some work like outside of the
Yeah.
like the horror course. Like you've got other artists like Attila doing that, and um,
I mean, and all that stuff's basically like a shirt design here or there, or an ad mat for a tour or something like that. You know, that hasn't been like any album designs for anybody outside yet, but you know, I'm I think that there's room for growth in that area of things. I think that
absolutely. Well, okay, so look, if you're a metal
Always.
band watching, if you're a metal band or a rock band or anything, and you want to get some cool artwork done by the man, reach out to him.
I
Absolutely
can't
reach out to
promise
him.
anything though because my list is quite
Oh, you got a lot
lengthy.
of stuff. You got a lot of stuff, man, and they'll have to pay the rates. They got to pay the no mates rates here, bro.
Oh,
You gotta,
I wanted to show this too when we were talking about stuff that I'm
Oh,
proud of or
yeah.
things that I like. Is Twisted with their comic series has been doing a lot with the comic book world and
Mhm.
their series Haunted Highons. I finally got to do my own cover for one of their books,
Hell
and
yeah.
so um, you know, it started off. They have phenomenal artists working on their books, but then eventually they started getting variant covers and things like that. So they had Kevin Eastman from the Ninja Turtles.
no
There,
shit.
he did a black and white cover for their comic,
That is.
and that released and sold out. And then we reprinted it, and I got to color Kevin Eastman's artwork for the reprint. And I'm like, to be able to put my name next to Kevin Eastman's in a comic book is like that's a bucket list for me. Like, you know, I got Kevin Eastman's artwork hanging on my wall over here. I got a bunch of Ninja Turtles on the wall over here. You know, like I've been a Turtles fan since I was a baby. So I didn't get to work specifically with him, but I got to work on a piece that he did.
Yeah.
So,
That's
That is
very cool, man.
um,
awesome.
so
That's so
yeah.
cool.
So I just wanted to mention that, you know, since we were talking about things that I'm proud of or
Yeah,
things
for
that I,
sure, man.
you know,
For sure. Well,
I'll be
let's
hella proud of that. That's
sorry
awesome.
to change, sorry to change the subject.
no, not at
No,
all, man. Not at all.
dude.
Anything, dude. Anything that you want, anything you want to bring up and shout out, we're totally on board with, man.
Yeah, that's what we're
Let's
here.
let's go to one of our segments.
Which
If Kyle's got
Yeah.
the button ready, we'll go to the first one.
I do. I do. The
When
quick
you're ready
question
to hit the
quarter.
button, yeah, let's hit it.
That you had you could
Quick question
you do
quarter.
you want you could do so you
All right, and we're here with the quick question quarter, spelt with Q's, not K's, because we don't roll like that. So now look, I don't. This one, this is more music focused rather than art focused. So
Mhm.
that's what we're going to be focusing on that side of your stuff for this bit. But let's start out easy. What was the first instrument that you ever dealt with? Was it just
I,
vocals or?
yeah, I don't know how to play an instrument to save my life. I've always just been a rapper. And yeah, I would love to learn guitar and keyboard, which I'm planning on learning. But
Definitely worthwhile, man. Like they're both
Yeah.
great instruments to help, even if you're just trying to hash out ideas, right? Like you want to
mhm.
get a vibe going, or you come up with a cool chord progression, and then you can just demo that and take it to, someone that like maybe sort of makes beats or
Yeah,
is a bit more thing, and you can go, hey, this is the vibe I got, this is the chord progression I'm feeling, and
I
they can
mean,
really
I've
build it
made
from
beats.
there, you know.
I used to make beats
Hmm.
for like my old groups, my old group No Clue Crew. We would make beats on a like a little 4-pad beat machine, you know, and a lot of our early albums were just us fucking around with a beat machine.
That's an
So
instrument.
I made. Yeah, I suppose
Yeah,
you're
that
right.
counts.
I don't feel like it was very skillful of me.
I mean, look,
but,
I consider vocal, like the voice is an instrument just as much as anything else is. So, that's very, very fair. That's very, very valid. What was the first album that you purchased?
that I purchased.
Yes.
Oh shit! Now I got to go way, way back. It's got to be. Do I still got it up here? I don't know if this is one that. Vanilla Ice.
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to say that's the first, but I would say Nirvana,
Mhm.
Nevermind, and In Utero. I had on cassette. Weird Al Yankovic, Bad Hair Day,
Nice.
UHF. I had a bunch of Weird Al shit. I would say the first album would be Nirvana, maybe.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very good.
That's a
Very nice
legit
choices
tape.
there.
That's a legit tape too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. That cassette you got right there is probably worth a bit. Yeah, man. Goddamn. Have you enjoyed his transition to doing like new metal stuff that he was doing?
I
there,
like his
or-
heavy shit. I do. I bought his album Bipolar, and I thought it was awesome.
Mm.
And I seen him. He performed at the Gathering, and
Yeah, he's performed there a bunch of times, right?
yeah. Well, like back in like 2004, 2005, he had his band out there with him, and his drummer did a solo for like 20 minutes, and it was phenomenal. I would say best drummer ever, just from that performance alone.
Damn, man.
But like, I definitely like Vanilla Ice's rock shit.
Like, I love showing people Too Cold and being like,
Yeah.
it's like, so this is a cover of Ice Ice Baby. Like, who do you think this is doing it? Like, I like to get people to guess
Right.
who's
They would
playing,
never
doing
even
the
think it
cover.
was him.
And you would never guess that it was him doing a cover of his
Right.
own song. But yes, it's a dirty question. It's like, it's a trick question because no one's going to think. You tell them it's a cover, no one's going to think it's a person covering their own stuff. But dude, I love it, man. What was the first live concert that you attended?
This be interesting.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Nice. That's a first.
And so
Yeah,
you know
it
what? I
would
love
have
it.
been Weird Al, but
That's
my
first.
mom cooked lasagna that night, and we missed Weird Al. So
But you know what?
Was the lasagna good? Was
the
it worth
thing-
me some Weird Al for?
it was delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Mom's lasagna
But-
is always good.
Yeah, of course. I love my mom.
But no, that's the like we often ask this question because we've mainly interviewed so far. I've interviewed Australian artists and musicians, so it's always nice when we get an international artist that we can talk to and try and get their first concert. Because I mean, it's so different. Like when bands come over here from the US or the UK, like they kind of have to do the biggest shows they can in each of the major cities because it's three or four main cities and that's it. Like, and they're flying in between them all, and it's a long travel.
Oh yeah, they're definitely so far apart from each other.
It's not like in the US or the UK where you can go, all right, yeah, we're going to do this one, and then we'll just drive 2 hours to the next town and do the next show, and you can do a smaller, you can do like. Whereas in the US, like they'd be doing the club tour with maybe like 1,000 people at each show. Over here, they've got to try and get 5,000 or 6,000 to a show to make it worth coming out. So we had this weird perception about how big certain bands are. And it's just such a different,
So mindset. It's a
different mindset, and the opportunities that you guys have to see bands in different contexts than what we get here is just such.
I feel like certain underground artists are a little bit more. They get a lot more love overseas because they don't get to see them all the time. But here, if you tour in the same cities all the time, you're getting less and less people at each show because you're getting played out. Yeah. So it's hard. To especially if you're playing the same venue every couple months, who's going to come out for the same show every time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and look, we just we literally just wrapped up over here the New Metal Mayhem tour, which was Waylon Revis from Mushroomhead.
I seen he was down there. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was performing half Mushroomhead stuff, half stuff from his new band Killer's Confession, and. Also had Anders Cole 70, the original Slipknot vocalist, doing Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, performing those versions.
I seen that shit too. Yeah,
which was like he hasn't touched that stuff in 25 years.
It's got to be mind blowing.
It was so bizarre for everyone to see that stuff. It's so cool. But all right, So, I mean, you mentioned guitar and keyboards there a little earlier. Is there any other instruments that you've kind of always wanted to learn? Anything a bit more outside of bit more unique or outside of the standard like songwriting stuff?
No, not really. Mainly, I don't think I'm coordinated enough to play the drums. Um, I always wish I could. I always am banging on the steering wheel when I'm driving and things like that, pretending that I know what I'm doing. But like, um, I, I think that it's got to start with guitar. My dad's a guitarist. He's a phenomenal guitarist. He always has been. I've always been just mind blown watching him play. I could sit there for hours and watch my dad just pick at the guitar. So that's been my main.
Y'all should do a song together. You should get him to play guitar on the.
Funny you say that. We are working on one.
Hey, awesome! I'm
Nice.
keen to
Great
hear that one.
work. Great work.
For the
Love
first
that.
time ever, I wrote lyrics in the shower one day, and I said, "Dad, I really want to do a song with you." He said, "Send me what you got." I sent him my lyrics. He wrote the guitar parts of it and sent it to me. He recorded it on an iPhone and sent it to me, and it sounds better than it should on an iPhone. It's crazy. It sounds like we could use that. And when he sent me that, I have to rethink my lyrics a little bit now because now I want to make it sound good, and I don't know how to sing for shit. So I'm just, I don't want to mess it up. And now my older brother Brian is going to get involved in it now too, and he's got a voice like Corey Taylor, so he could do a lot of the Stone Sour sounding stuff or
Ah,
screaming
that's
like
awesome.
Slipknot. So
Nice.
so I didn't originally think that was going to be what we were doing, but now we're kind of rethinking the whole song. It's called Dragonfly, and it's about really kind of coming out of a cocoon, becoming yourself kind of thing. And I wanted it to be on the end of my new album that I'm working on, but I don't think we're going to get it finished in time. So it'd probably come out as a single
Mhm.
eventually.
Nice.
That's just so cool, though, man. Like, I love that you're able to
Yeah.
do something like that and have that like, clearly music runs in the family.
Yeah.
That you guys are able to bring that together and do something special like that as a family. That's so awesome.
My my brother never did anything musically other than rapping on some of our songs back in the day. And he's always wanted to do more with his music, with what he writes songs, and he writes. And he sent me something he sang recently, and I'm like, I'm just blown away how good it is. I'm like, I never knew you could do this. I heard him rap on my songs before, and it was fine, but like him doing this rock shit might be what he needs to be doing. So,
It's amazing
you
what
know,
ideas you come up with in the shower.
yeah,
Yeah, well, dude,
right,
It's probably
right,
a shower
yeah.
singer,
I
right? You know
That's
what
where a lot of my
I
lyrics come from,
yeah,
right?
but dude, have
That and
you
Dragon.
you talk about like doing rap and rock stuff? They're like, have you heard Mr. Gray's old nu metal band,
No,
bro? Okay,
I'm
so
gonna write it down.
funny story, man. The flight back from Detroit, I was going from Detroit after Astronomicon to San Diego because I was going to an AEW show the next like
Hmm.
a couple of days later. And on the first flight, the first leg of that flight, uh, Mr. Gray was in the line. Like he was in the line
Wait,
waiting to
oh, you
board the
said
flight.
Mr. Gray?
Yeah,
Mr. Gray. Oh,
yeah.
I
From
thought you said Mystic Ray. I'm like,
no,
what?
no, 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 no,
Sorry.
Mr. No,
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 I'm sorry, I misheard you.
no,
Mr.
no.
Gray
That's
is a
okay.
good friend of mine.
it's his
Yeah, dude.
accent.
Yeah,
It-
it's the accent. It's the accent, bro. That's what it
no,
is. Man.
and I should have picked up on that. But no, Mr. Gray, I love him very much. He's actually on a song on my new album. So,
Awesome. But yeah,
yeah,
man. Like we got talking there, and I was like, oh, hey, man. Like it was nice to meet you at the thing, whatever. Because like I was boarding slightly
yeah.
ahead of him. It was
Are
like
you talking about his
southwest.
the what's it called? The fucking not Vicious Vendetta, the one after that. I can't remember. I designed two of his albums, and
Oh
so I
shit.
designed the one I think
Oh
you're
yeah.
talking
So
about. It's the
yeah.
one with Baphomet on the cover.
No, the rock album that he's done recently. No, I'm talking like before that, like way back in the day.
Never. I haven't really heard much of his old stuff, but
Yeah, man.
yeah.
So like way back in the day, we got chatting on the flight, man, because he's like, yeah, I'll sit next to you, man. We'll have a talk, and like the whole flight
Hell
we were
yeah.
talking about stuff, and he mentioned that yeah, he used to be in like a new metal style band back in the 2000s.
Yeah, I never heard any of that stuff.
And so I tracked it down. I'll have to let me see. Oh, I've probably still got it in the chat here somewhere.
He's such a phenomenal
No.
artist too. He can do a lot of different
Alright.
things.
Yeah, I've got a track somewhere with in my studio computer with both those guys from Gorilla Voltage did a
Mhm.
verse for me. I haven't released it or anything yet because I just have been because I did some stuff to set the tone on it, and then they came back with their stuff, and I was like, shit, okay, now I got to redo all my shit, and
You got to step it up a bit,
I've been
right?
focused
I
on
feel
so
like
many
that
other
all the
things,
time.
and obviously since then, like Gorilla Voltage, they've gone their separate ways, and so I
Yeah.
feel like this is probably one of the last unreleased Gorilla Voltage verses anywhere. So need to get off my ass and finish that one. But anyway,
It'd be interesting to hear it. Yeah, for sure.
oh man,
Both those guys are extremely talented. I was supposed to get some beats off of Clockwork, but I kind of dropped the ball on that, and I got to hit him up. But
I'll send you the
yeah,
demo that I've got somewhere. I'll find the demo of it.
yeah, I'd love to hear that. Yeah,
Maybe I'll even maybe I can even get you to do the artwork for it.
I mean, I'm
No.
depends on when you want it, though. You know?
No, dude, no rush, man. I've sat on this track for literal years. It's fine. But so if you could look, you've obviously had as a juggler, you've obviously had an opportunity to work with and do shows with all sorts of amazing talent. If you could pick one big band or artist to open a show for, now this is like literally anything, living or dead, active or not, whatever stage in their career you could pick, like just bend the laws of space and time. If you could pick one big band or artist to open a show for, who would it be? Someone that
Oh
you haven't
man, that's a
already.
tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, they start to get a
God,
bit trickier from here, man.
put me on the spot. Put me on the spot. Oh, I can't. I don't even know.
Doesn't have to be your most favorite necessarily, but just like
right, somebody that I could see.
Someone huge that you were like that you just wish was like a dream shot that you could do.
Any lineup.
Man, I don't even know. Fuck. No, I got nothing. I got
There's
nothing.
too many of them.
Yeah. So I feel like I would belong on a rap or a hip hop show, but at the same time, that's not
not
what I
you
would.
belong. What you want.
Right. What I want. I have no idea. I really don't.
Too many.
Sorry to disappoint.
That's all right. There's too many to choose from. I think sometimes it's
because I've opened for a lot of the bands that I grew up idolizing. Twisted, Ice and Food. I've done shows with Cottonmouth Kings multiple times. I've done shows with, never Linkin Park. I guess Mike Shinoda. Let's say Mike Shinoda.
All right.
That's he's definitely on the top of my list as far as MCs out there, and it would be amazing to work on anything with him, really. So,
well,
yeah,
I mean,
I guess that's fair.
If by some crazy moonshot miracle this happens to come across the feed of anyone who's got connections with Mike Shinoda, get in touch with the boy here.
Reach out. I would love to collaborate with him, and he's always been one of them guys that likes to work with people, and just it's all about the craft and not so much about he's not an ego kind of driven person who's like he doesn't think he's better than anybody. He's a down to earth person, so I feel like he would be great to work with on any level, even if it's just on artwork or something. So
maybe when the new track comes out with your dad.
Yeah.
Try and get some stuff happening there for sure. All right, who is a band or artist that you're listening to at the moment that you believe is seriously underrated and deserves more attention?
Ooh, underrated now. You got these zingers in here.
Well, yeah, man. Like this is what I mean. We like to get to know you guys a little better. We like to get to know our guests a little better. And I'll be honest, this question is half for us as much for anyone else because, we want to know what you guys are listening to, so we can.
Well, I listen to a lot of things that people wouldn't expect me to listen to, which is like Imagine Dragons or AWOL Nation or things like that. But those guys are way maybe overrated, So I don't know. As far as like somebody who's underrated,
or just someone who's on the come up that not a lot of people will know about,
I mean, Atmosphere is really already well known. People like that. On the come up though, man, working my brain here.
Feel free to grab your phone and scroll through your Spotify if that'll help you at all.
Well, Well,
Oh, you're on your phone,
I
Dave.
actually,
You're on your phone.
yeah, I don't use Spotify, so
there you
it's
go.
kind of hard.
Very good.
I just
I do.
listen. I'm on my computer all day, every day, working on design. So I just put up on YouTube whatever I want to listen to.
Yeah,
Nice.
fair.
And yeah, I got nothing on that one either, man.
That's right.
As
Well,
far as
we'll say
I like a
atmosphere.
lot of the underground artists that I'm working with,
Yeah.
like Bakelo or Zitro or my buddy Histio. They're phenomenal artists who have a lot of heart in the game. They're in the underground circuit, and they deserve more credit than they're getting for sure.
Awesome.
We'll check
You
them
know,
out.
There
that's
you
a
go.
couple
Yeah,
guys,
man.
Bakelo, Histio, and Zitro. I always try to give them props anytime I can
We'll check that
because
shit.
they work their asses off. We just dropped a new song on Spotify. It's called All That I Know. It's me, Bakelo, Histio, and Zitro, and there's a music video for it on YouTube as well.
Oh,
So,
reaction.
Wicked. We'll go. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we'll do a reaction to that
Reaction.
one. Man, like that
Oh,
snowstorm
no,
that came in. The snowstorm
Oh
that
yeah,
came in
when you
for
were here.
Astronomicon was
Yeah.
like that was wild because like we just don't generally don't get that much snow in Australia. So
I
I was
imagine.
like,
unless you're up in the snowy mountains.
not unless you're in
and
like, yeah, there's literally like one spot in Australia that regularly gets snow, and we
Yeah.
call it the Snowy Mountains. Like how original, right? But
Sounds fine to me though.
but yeah, so like when I was out there and I was in, like I went to Cedar City in Utah, and there was like a few inches of snow kind of around the place, and there was like a nice quiet town, idyllic kind of vibes, and that was really, really cool. Then like Detroit, and it's fucking like
It's got
blizzard
buried.
rolls in and fucking a foot of snow.
Yeah, it's hit and miss here.
Mm.
You know, I've living in Ohio. We get about the same weather as we do here in Michigan. So
Yeah.
it's some years we have really bad winters, but it's far and few between that we get super buried like we did that Astro. New York gets pounded pretty hard.
Yeah, I was. You know what? I was kind of hoping that I'd get, because I went to Salem, Massachusetts while I was over
Nice.
there as well. I was kind of hoping I'd get a little bit of snow in there, but I think it was just getting too late. Yeah, it was coming out of the season too much by then. But
so do you like snow? Was that
look? It's a novelty for me. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what it is. It's a novelty. Like what I learned after being over there is I love to visit places where it snows. I couldn't live somewhere where it snows regularly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the bullshit that brings with it, I just couldn't
It
deal
ain't
with
worth it.
on the full time. Like
We got enough
Yeah.
to deal with snakes and shit like that. I don't need snow on top of that.
Some giant spiders and things.
Yeah.
oh, it's going to be a hectic snake season up here for me.
Bro, it's
Like,
going to be a hectic
Oh, I
fucking
love it.
funnel
That's
web
what I
season
want.
down here. It's going to be hectic funnel web season down in Sydney. They're already complaining about it.
Yeah, it's going
Oh
to be.
man,
Let's keep
I
going.
love that though.
Yeah, man.
Spiders and
Look,
snakes
if
is
you
my thing.
man, if you know what, if you come out here, there's like some Australian wildlife parks that you should definitely hit up.
Yeah,
They've got
man.
lots of cool stuff with snakes and spiders and all that. But yeah, in the wild, you definitely don't want to.
Mhm.
Out in the world, you
Don't
don't
be
want to fuck
messing
with them in
around.
general. No,
No.
you
No.
don't. Like you don't, especially in
Absolutely.
summer, you don't go putting your hand like into a pile of stuff that you can't
No
see
way.
what's inside of it.
Nope.
You just
Nope. No, I'd like to think I'm smarter than that. I know that there's dangerous shit out there, so I wouldn't go fucking around. You know.
No, you don't want to
I
find
definitely-
out. See, you're
yeah,
smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and just if you go on bushwalks, just like the drop bears, you just stay away
Yeah.
from their shit, man. It's like
Yep.
that's all it is. All right, let's get back on that. So you've already kind of revealed a few different kind of surprising things that maybe the audience wouldn't or the fans wouldn't necessarily expect. But
Right.
is there anything else that like you think people would be really like surprised to learn about you, just as a person?
I mean, I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to everything. I try to be as forward with my lifestyle as I can be because I don't know. So not really anything surprising, I guess. I used to get really angry long time ago. I still have anger outbursts and stuff, but I'm more into like the meditation and stuff these days, and more into trying to just working on bettering myself
Yeah,
to
That's
take care,
cool.
to really help
You have
my
to,
family.
man. You have to these
And-
days. It's just
yeah.
there's so much going on there, and it's so like it can be
Trying to
far
become
too
the
easy
best
these
version of
days.
me that I can be. Yeah. which I mean can sound arrogant, I guess, at the same time, or selfish. But
No,
if you don't work on your shit, you all the habits and things that we have, if you're not trying to work on that, then you're kind of wasting your time. You know, you got to. Now I got a stepdaughter now that I got to help take care of, and I got a family to think about. When for the last 10 years before I moved up here, it was just me in the woods by myself, you know, getting right with my head and figuring out my life after a long period of. I'm really focused on the whole love is the answer type thing, whereas you know, love is the only thing in the universe that matters really when you break it down. And you can believe in whatever you want to believe in. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But ultimately, when it comes down to human beings, it's all about respect and love. And I think that we've lost that in humanity in a lot of places. So I'm, you know, that's my main goal behind my music and my art is to express love and express uh, the you know compassion and respect and just kind of
Gratitude towards life.
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely
I like
gratitude.
that,
Yeah,
man. That's a good message.
that's a great outlook, man. Yeah, I'm really digging that. And you're right. Like, I think if more people tried to approach the world from a place of love and appreciation and gratitude, I think a lot of problems
yeah,
that we're seeing out there would be
Mm-hmm.
lessened greatly.
right.
Um,
And
And with the
minding your own
wars
getting
and
fucking
shit that's
and
going
minding
on, you
your
know,
own
it's
fucking business.
mm,
yeah,
like, yeah, let's
absolutely. Stay in your fucking lane. Know when to open your mouth. Is really it. Yeah, definitely.
so just getting back to the quick question quarter. We got a couple more for you, and then we'll move on to the next
Yeah,
segment. Um, so you've been doing music for quite a while now. You said we said it before,
almost 20
almost
years.
20
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Uh, what would you say is the cringiest song name you've ever come up with?
Oh, we were gonna make a song called "The Fuck Us Bus," but we had uh
I like
or
that. I like
or
that though, man.
there was another one I can't think of. We almost made an album called "Liquid Children." Was just like
Oh,
the cover was because
they
when I
all
was in
start
No
off
Clue,
as liquid children.
right, exactly. The cover was us as sperm. I started drawing it. We never got there with it, but when I was in a group No Clue, we were just comedy rap. It was more so just coming up with the most raunchy shit. Our first album was a Christmas album, but it wasn't Christmas music. It was, you know, Mrs. Claus is a whore type shit. So that was one of our main songs was Mrs. Claus's Dirty Secret, and the whole we were awful back then, but
Oh, bro,
I love that
I'm
shit.
gonna guess that stuff's not online, but I'd love to hear it somewhere, man. I'd
I
love
can
to.
send it to you,
Please
but
Oh,
do.
I would prefer that nobody ever heard it.
No,
okay,
that's right.
okay.
If you
No,
could please send
that's
that
the
to us,
beauty of being
it
in
will
two
be just
dudes.
us, man. But that's like that sounds really
Yeah.
funny. I'm totally down for that
Um,
one.
I was just talking to one of my old partners from the No Clue crew, where we're getting ready to release our final No Clue album on digital media.
Yeah,
So it was 2008 was when we released it originally, but it's not on digital anywhere.
yeah.
So I talked to the guys in the band and said, "Hey, you guys care if I put this on my digital output?" And they were all for it. And the final song on that album was a hidden bonus track called the Butthole Song, and I'm not the one rapping in it, but I'm in the background doing the engineering and I'm chiming in here and there. And the guy that wrote it, Gertie, I was like, "Do we put this out with the album because it was a bonus track?" He's like, "Absolutely, let's put that out." So it'll be out with the new album with that album when I
Love
release
it.
it. But
Yeah.
it's
Love
all
it.
about the butthole. So
Well, I
I don't
think
know.
though that's actually something that's really interesting because you get uh like when it comes to music, you get like comedy rock stuff.
Mm,
Reason like you get like bands like Tenacious D and
yeah, right.
Psycho Stick who are
Along
out
those
there
lines.
doing sort of the comedy stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I feel like I don't know if it's just something I haven't been exposed to, and maybe it's out there and I just don't know about it. But I feel like rap takes itself a bit more serious, a bit too seriously to do a lot of comedy rap stuff. But maybe that's even a lot of what like happens in horrorcore as well. Like I know there's a
Yeah.
lot of elements in horrorcore stuff that's basically like their joke songs or their comedy things, or
Well,
that's
yeah, you
maybe
got to have a
that's
sense of humor in order to write some of the stuff that comes out in horrorcore. So
yeah,
definitely
absolutely,
plays
man.
into it.
100%.
Absolutely. Like
Anyone that
But
takes that stuff seriously, you got, man, check yourself.
I feel like when I lost my group projects, like No Clue, and my other horrorcore group was the Gemini Project. When those groups disband and now I'm on my own, I feel like my music has a lot more serious feel to it. It's more life oriented and more real shit. And I have a hard time writing comedy songs now and writing horrorcore stuff. I just released a semi horrorcore song it was called Cemetery Dreams. On
yeah,
Friday the
man.
13th, I dropped that.
I was having to listen to that one. That's cool. I'll
Oh
dig
yeah.
that one.
And so, I mean, that was me diving back into the horror roots a little bit, trying to come up with a story instead of just trying to write about my life. So, and it kind of has undertones of my life in that song. There's subliminal things in there that, that I relate to for sure. I'm just not making shit up, but trying to put myself back into the mindset of telling a story rather than always just trying to, preach positivity and things like that. Because,
Yeah.
I don't
Still
think
gotta have
everybody.
fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. And so a lot of my new album that I'm working on it's a lot of dark stuff. It's a lot more mind shit. Like I've been going through a serious depression for a while. Probably for the last 10 years. I don't know. It's been a while, but so a lot of the new music on my new album is dark, and I thought about it. I'm like, do I put this out all like this, or should I try to put more positive stuff on here? Because there's like 2 or 3 positive songs on it, and then most of it's just dark or me talking shit. And I I guess people like the negative stuff because it's something more relatable, and not everybody wants to hear me preaching about keeping your mind open minded, and nobody wants to hear the positive shit really ever. So
Hey,
I
look,
don't.
to some degree, I do agree with you. I mean, let's be honest. Taylor Swift made a living off it every time she breaks up with someone. Can't wait to hear
Yeah,
the new. Yeah, actually no. I wish her nothing but love because she took on Spotify and won. So good on her for that. But
she's doing something right for
yeah,
sure.
like if she does break up with this new boyfriend, I cannot wait for to hear the new album.
It's going to be all hate on football and NFL.
A lot of the best music comes from a place of darkness. So
It,
I think that's a key to good music is writing how you really feel when you're in those moments.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and so
that's where I think a lot of appeal for metal music, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I remember seeing an interview with Phil Anselmo from like 90. It was like the 91 Monsters of Rock or something, and they were asking him about like the violence in the mosh pit, and he's like, well, heavy metal is controlled violence in a violent world, or something to that effect. And I'm like, it's true. Like people seek
It's
out,
just letting out emotion. Yeah.
yeah, it's cathartic. It's like when you're sad and you listen, a lot of people they don't want to listen to sad music. They want to listen to trap, but if you're sad and you listen to sad music, it helps you process those emotions.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like with metal or with horrorcore or with more, darker or aggressive music, there's definitely that, like, people are in these places and their minds are going to these dark places and they
Yeah.
listen to this music and it helps them process through some of these emotions
Well, it's
in a
not like
safe
Yeah.
way, a safe and controlled way.
after anything bad happens, like it's not like you're gonna first CD you're going for is Bright Side's gonna clear up, put on a
Right.
happy
Yeah.
face. It's
Right.
like, oh no,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
not
absolutely.
right now. I want to flip
But-
this table.
All right,
Put
so
some of that
look,
on.
let's last question for the quick question quarter and then we'll move along. If you could travel back in time or send a message back in time to, to 19 years ago, Eric, and give him some advice when it comes to music, what would that advice be?
Just to be yourself and not worry about what anybody thinks about you. Like not trying to appeal to any specific crowd and just writing and just being creative. Just be the artist that I am now today, that is less worried about trying to make it somewhere and just now focused on trying to write and be an artist. And, just I never fit in high school. I never fit in middle school. I always got picked on. I was one of the only juggalos in the entire school. And so I think that drove a lot of my anger back then, or my hatred towards life and people. I just was in this bubble of closed-mindedness. And juggalos back in the day used to be super all about just being yourself, but I was always trying to fit in somewhere. And I when I realized that I don't have to fit in anywhere, that I'm okay being me, that's when I really started being able to write good, real music. And I feel like that's when my art took off too, in the right direction. And so, if I could tell myself back then, I would just say, don't fucking worry about what that asshole over there says. Don't worry about any of it, because they don't matter. It's write what you want, say what you want to say.
Perfect.
Don't hold
I
back.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really, really cool. That's really cool. All right. Let's go to the next segment. My favorite segment, Carl's favorite segment. It's time for Get in the Bin.
Let's do it.
Come on, if you want to fight.
Yeah, come on then.
Fight, don't...
Get in the
Are
bin.
you enjoying the weather there, mate?
What?
Are you enjoying the weather there?
What are you talking about?
Is that like a
Yeah,
wheelbarrow?
back.
What is
So
a wheelie bin?
a wheelie bin. So it's like a tall. That's right. You guys don't really do wheelie bins. I guess
So
you
think
do.
of
It's
it
a
like
bit different.
think of it like a trash can, but it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
tall
it's an
and
upright
square
a tall upright trash can that's
with
got wheels on the
wheels
bottom.
and handles. So
Okay.
when you fill it, you
Yeah.
can just lean it back and push it to the curb.
Oh yeah, we got
Yeah.
those. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got those for sure.
We call them wheelie bins.
Right. So
All right.
yeah, wheelie bins is what we could just, because they're bins and they've got wheels.
Wheels.
So wheelie bin. It's we're not
I like it.
as much as there's stigma around American names for a lot of stuff being like basic and they're describing it because it's literally what it is. Australia is like just as bad for it.
Yeah.
Like we're just as bad for it. Right. So yes, this is Get in the Bin. Now this is where the segment where we talk to our esteemed guest and we say, hey, if you had the Infinity Gauntlet, which you kind of see up there, sort of thing, with all the stones and the power of Thanos, and you could just, hey, there you go, he's got one.
There you go.
If you could just like snap your fingers and remove 3 things from the music business, what would they be? So without further ado, Eric, what is your first thing that you would put in the bin from the music industry?
Lip syncing.
Yeah, okay, that's a first.
Yep.
I hate it when people get up on stage and they're just kind of not doing the work, not putting the effort in. And I say I leave my hooks and stuff in for extra emphasis, but I fucking rap my shit. I actually get up there and I put the energy into my show. And to watch other people get famous off of fucking lip syncing just hurts my feelings, man. It really hurts me, So,
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's
a lot of rappers leave like hype parts or certain
Yeah, you
bits
gotta
in there
have that,
to add,
yeah.
so to give them an
Yeah,
opportunity to
that's
breathe or to give yourself extra emphasis and things
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that. But like you're
Yeah,
still up there
especially since-
performing the song. You're not like lip syncing those parts.
Yeah.
So
And I don't really have a hype man these days. I have my DJ up there and he helps me out a lot. But if I am up there by myself, I have a hard time hitting I rap
Yeah.
fast on some stuff, so it's hard for me to catch a breath. So I'll throw in a couple pieces of hype in there. But for people to leave their entire backtrack in there and just pretend like they're singing it or and you can tell the difference. The difference. They're not putting the effort into it. It just bothers me. I know. I'm sure a lot of people do that, and people might
Bothers
think
us too.
differently about that.
Yeah.
But
No,
man, one of
bothers me.
the wildest shows, like rap shows I've ever seen was Tech Nine getting up there, and he was just like didn't miss a bit, did not miss a
Phenomenal,
fucking
yeah.
bit. He's just unbelievable performer, dude. Like,
in the days with him, Chris Calico, and Cut Calhoun on stage together, man, that was one of the best rap shows you'll ever see.
yeah, well, I was really fortunate. Well, I've seen him twice. Once was in Sydney when he did an Australian tour, and it was him and Chris Calico was hype man for him, which was incredible because they were like, they do it
So
like
that's
they
a
do,
team right there.
yeah, oh dude, iconic
Fucking
team,
work
and they
so
do
well
a couple
together.
of they do a couple of like Chris Calico songs as well, but like him being up, like Chris Calico is incredible in his own right. So those guys working
Oh
together
yeah.
was unbelievable. And then the second
Yeah.
time was I actually was, because I work with Kid Crusher sometimes for live shows. Like I'll do DJing and hype stuff for him. And he was opening for Tech Nine in Adelaide on a different tour. So he's like, "Hey, do you want to come down?" So I went down to Adelaide and we did that, and I got to see him there. And that time it was just him and this DJ on stage, and still absolutely just crushed it, man. Like,
Hell yeah.
that's a guy who's like built an empire
He's a
for
performer.
himself, and is just, I think, what is it, like, biggest underground rapper in the world, right? Like,
Number one independent rapper of all time, or or whatever.
something like that, man.
I don't know what the exact title. Yeah, something.
He's done
phenomenal.
crazy good work. Okay, yep. So
He doesn't stop either. He's
Man.
getting up there in age, but he is not slowing down. So
Man, he's still going. He's absolutely still going, and that's crazy. Like he's keeps going. I mean, dude, who else is going to get The Rock on a fucking rap
Right.
song? You know what I mean?
This
Like
shit
no
was
one
crazy.
else. No one else was going to do that except fucking Tech. Like that's a big swing, and I love that. All right, cool. So we got lip syncing. That's a good one. I don't think anyone's ever actually said lip syncing
that's a
before.
first,
Like
man.
that's
No.
Definite first.
that's cool. We'll
Now I got to
definitely
think of
throw that
another
one
two,
away.
right?
Yeah.
Shit.
2 more.
Yeah, man, we need 2 more. Just like, and like I said, man, they can be big,
anything.
small. They can be like,
I would say the ego of the person who thinks that they run everything. The guy, that guy who gets on stage and just thinks, comes to mind because I watched a video of it recently. Corey Feldman, who fucking will get on stage. He's an old actor.
I know
was
who
in-
he is.
Okay, all right. But I don't want to give him any more credit than he needs. But like, I watched a couple of videos of him recently, and he just acts like the whole world revolves around him. Like if you're in a band and you're working with a team, or you're working with a stage crew, or you're working with a touring crew, that is those are your people. So fucking act like it. You're not the only one out there doing this. Everybody's there making sure you look good. So maybe fucking show some respect to your crew. Maybe show some respect to your bands. Like a lot of lead singers get this arrogance about them that they think it's all about them. And I don't like that at all. I think that, if you could do it on your own, why the fuck aren't you doing it on your own? No, you need them people with you. You need your crew. So
Love it. Love
I
that
think
one.
I think Henry Rollins has the right idea. I'm sure I've seen a photo going around of a bit of paper taped up backstage at a Henry Rollins show, and it literally, or something like that, and it literally says
seen
like,
that.
yeah, like you should get the crew's salary and the crew should get yours. Like you
Right. Absolutely.
they make you, and you need to respect that, because without them, you got nothing. So
Yeah, you may have wrote the song, you may have figured out the chords and things, but you need an entire team to execute what you want to execute, or else
yeah.
you that ego will kill you real quick.
Yeah, and
So-
even if it's a one person job in terms of in the studio, when it comes to live
Yeah.
shows, it's just not possible to run those as a one person thing. So
Yeah.
those require a team effort, and then absolutely there needs to be the respect for that. Like I have the utmost respect for the sound crew at any shows and venues that I've been working at.
From the lighting guy, from the guy fucking running the mic cords, from the entire touring staff, everybody that is on the bus, making sure you're getting there on time, making sure you're ready to go on stage, that your sound is good, that your microphone's good, and not in the real world, we don't always have the best mic setups, and our shit cuts out and things like that happen, and then it's automatically this guy's fault or this guy's fault. It's like, man, just fucking just drop the ego and let's just fucking do this as a team.
That's it.
Absolutely, and shout out to is it Big Vin? Is it Big Vin from Magic Ninja?
Big Vin, Dustin. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man. He's a legend, man.
Hell
I
yeah.
see him running around doing all the shit. With,
Not only that, but like Murph, our homie Murph and Beeve, who runs the merch booth a lot of times and does a lot more than that behind the scenes, and all these people that don't get the credit that they deserve, especially guys like Murph and Dustin. They fucking work their asses off to make sure that shit's going the way it needs to go, so that the guys can get on stage and do their thing. So, and it takes an entire team, and us at Magic Ninja definitely are good for respecting the team.
Yeah, well, I mean, and like I get the sense that at Magic Ninja, there's a lot of people pulling like multiple jobs too. Like people kind of do,
Absolutely.
You know, no one kind of has just one job. It's like you might be hired officially in a role, but like if you can help out with something else, like you're helping out with something else, you know. That I definitely get that sense that that's how things operate there.
Oh yeah, today I drove out to the office today, and they said they needed me to go pick up a bunch of CDs from the CD manufacturer. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking down to do that. You know,
Absolutely.
that's an hour or two away from my computer, which is great because I spend a lot of time on this fucking thing. So I'm always happy to help out in any way that I can, just to help the team, because it's got to be a team mentality, or else the ship's gonna sink. You know, you gotta have your crew's back, and your crew's gotta have your back. So, and people fuck up. People will always fuck up. There will be people that don't take their job seriously. There will be people that don't care as much as you do. But it's like you just gotta work through that. You gotta make it work for the fans, because the fans are they're the ones coming to see you. Or if
They
you
pay
fucking
bills, man. The fans pay the
yeah,
bills.
right. Absolutely.
That's the cold hard reality of it. Especially if you want
And
to
if
be
you're out
paid.
there acting like you're better than everybody else, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to be around that. The arrogance just kills the vibe. So
And
I love
the fans
work
learn
with,
that
you know?
eventually too. The fans learn that eventually,
Yeah.
especially in these days with VIP meet and greets being so common. Like the fans learn real quick who's worth spending the time on and who's just an arrogant
Absolutely.
prick that doesn't respect anybody. So you
Oh,
can't be getting away
you
with that
paid
now.
150 to 200 bucks to come to this meet and greet, come in, shake my hand, and then walk out. No, you actually want to fucking have a conversation with these people.
Absolutely,
You know?
man. Well, like that's the thing. I did like yes, okay, I got to briefly meet Twisted at Astronomicon, but like I also caught him at Cincinnati when they were doing the tour with Static Beer Factory and that. And like I mentioned at Astronomicon, I'm like when I got the signing stuff from them, I'm like, oh hey, I'm gonna be at the Cincinnati show, so like I went to VIP, whatever. And they're like, sweet. And then I was there when I rocked up to that one. They were like, hey, Australia. And we had like a nice little chat there and everything. And like those guys are, man, their appreciation for their fans just runs so deep. And like the fact,
and it's real too. You
yeah,
can tell it's real.
The fact that they like took a bit of extra time to like chat with me about stuff because I come so far and put so much into seeing them. I'm like. And even
That's
then,
good
like,
to hear.
even at
That
the
they
end of
treated you well.
Astro, man, at the panel at the end of Astronomicon, like I got up to ask a question, and they say, "Oh, say your name and where you're from," sort of thing. And I got up, I was like, "Hey, like I'm Raf, come from Australia," and I think Paul was like, "Give it the fuck up for this guy, like coming all the way from Australia and everything." So I'm like,
yeah,
it's the appreciation for the fans is number one, and yeah,
I think they understand that without the fans, they're nothing. Not that they wouldn't be talented, but like not that we wouldn't still be doing what we do, but like that's why we still do it. It's for the fans, for the family, for the people that are out there coming and supporting.
100%.
And so I think that's everything to me, at least. I know that's everything to Jamie and Paul. So
that's awesome, man. All right, and what's your third one? What's your third one to throw in the bin?
Well, let me think about it for a second. You can edit this.
That's fine. You can have a think if you need. That's totally fine. I'll tell you what.
And it can be like venues.
Yeah, like
fans,
venue stuff.
It can be
like
venue stuff, fan stuff, merch stuff, anything you want.
Business stuff, like literally any aspect of it, dude.
I would say, like, just off the top of my head, I would say that venue security acting like that they're super tough and fucking with fans that are trying to have a good time.
That's a first.
Like it doesn't happen a lot that I see anymore, but I've been to shows back in the day where the security just thinks that because they're security, they can do whatever the hell they want and treat people like shit. And yeah, the fans got to have a level of respect for the security too. So if you're getting out of hand and you're drunk and wasted, then
you deserve to get kicked
obviously
out.
Yeah, right. You need to get checked for that, but
But yeah,
if everybody in the crowd's smoking a joint, then and you're going to single out one guy for smoking a joint and then kick his ass and then kick him out of the venue for it, come on.
Yeah,
you're not a tough guy just because you're
I'm confiscating that. You shouldn't be doing that.
And then they go smoke it.
Yeah, like the failed cop security guards.
Yeah.
Or, I
Look,
mean, on the opposite end of the security guards that think they're better than everybody else, maybe the fans that think that they're the only ones at the show that matter. So it's
Yeah.
a kind of a double-edged sword, the ones that are thinking, "Oh, I deserve this more because I've been down longer than you," or blah blah blah. And it's like, man, you
yeah,
don't. We're all here for the same reason. Let's fucking have a good time. Let's not.
yeah,
I'm not gonna stand here in the front of the crowd and throw my elbows in this person's face or try to shove this girl out of the way or whatever. People that are just ignorant in the crowd in
yeah,
general is super annoying.
Yep.
And it's those people that just think the whole world revolves around them. Again, like that mentality, the ego, the fucking people that just think that nothing else matters but them. So
for sure.
try to focus a little bit more on being a good human being and just fucking respecting the people around you. I see it every day, not even just at shows and things like going to Walmart and things like that. Is the
Mm,
people that just completely have no sense of what's going on around them. They're either stuck in their phones or they're focused on whatever they're doing that they don't give a shit about anybody. And it it could go on for a while.
We could all, man. It's
Oh, we
it's
absolutely
no
could.
stranger
We
over here.
absolutely
Yeah,
could.
it's the same over here with a lot of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. We get plenty of Karens over here, man.
Yeah.
Karens and Kyles all around.
Mhm.
Sorry, bro.
Everybody has a
Sorry,
bad
bro.
day,
But Kyle is the male version
Is
of
it?
Karen. I'm
Okay.
afraid.
Oh, I'm lucky I'm beer buddy.
Yeah. Righto. So look, let's bring this one to a close, there, man. But let's talk about what have you got coming up that you want people to know about and pay attention to. You mentioned you got a new album you're working on that's coming out at some point soon.
Yeah,
But you got any
the new
shows
album.
or?
I got a show coming up on Sunday. I don't know when this is going to air, so I don't know
No, it
what
might be
all we
probably
should.
probably after Sunday,
Yeah, it
but
will be.
Okay. Well, okay. So Unity Fest at this point has come and gone. That's a show with Boondocks, Buckshot, Bakelo, Zitro, Histio,
oh
me.
my god, sorry, I don't mean to jump in there, man, but
Yeah.
Buckshot, fucking bro,
Yeah. Props to Buckshot for sure.
always look like I have listened to horrorcore for 20 years now, right? Buckshot is the first person I've listened to in horrorcore that I legitimately believe would could do the shit he's doing. Is the actual killer.
He don't play. No, he don't play.
Man, that guy just how sinister his voice is and how he looks on stage, everything. I'm like, bro,
His
you've killed a
persona,
motherfucker. Like you've killed people
his
for sure.
persona is who he is. So
Yeah.
he doesn't fucking put up a front for anybody. And
Jeez.
he's straight up with business, man. He's had me do flyers and shit for him for the past several years. And anytime he hits me up, I am always super busy, but I always make time for him because he's real. He makes sure to take care of me. He's always had my back in the situation, and he makes sure I get the credit for the things that I do. He's a real one, and he's got a phenomenal graphics guy too, who handles all his shit, and his merchandise and everything is always top notch. It always looks amazing. I give him props every chance I can because his shit is on point. And
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with that one, man. But I just
no, it's all good.
You
Shout out
mentioned
to Buckshot.
you mentioned
Mob
Buckshot,
style.
bro. Like he's crazy. Yeah,
for
Buckshot
sure.
and the Mob Style crew, man. Those guys are nuts.
I did Hallow Bleed 4 with him and Twisted a few weeks ago, and that was awesome. I haven't been down to Kentucky since like 2015 or so. I was down there with Blaze, but it's the first time I've been down to Kentucky in a long time, and the whole crowd showed me a lot of love, and we had a lot of fun down there. So Loon Squad and Buckshot and the whole Mob Style team. Shout out to them, and I want to do it again sometime.
Yes.
Thank you, man. Well, you know what's gonna happen.
Well,
We got to bring you and Buckshot out here for some stuff, man. You'll need to come out here and run some stuff.
I plan on coming out there anyway. If I come out there, if I make a plan to come out there and we can do some shows, that would be amazing. But whatever has to happen, I just got to get my money right to make a trip.
But yeah, man, anytime you want to come down here, we'll look after you for sure, bro.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you.
Hell yeah, that's good to know.
Sorry, you
appreciate
got back on track with that thing. What do you got?
Hey, anyways, yeah, I could talk for hours and hours and hours, but we got to keep on schedule. But so just dropped the Liminal Space Songs of Sam Hain Volume 4.
Yes, I haven't listened to that yet, but I need to go on. I've got to go and listen. By the time this
From
is
Magic
out now,
Music
by the time
Entertainment.
people are watching
Yeah.
this, I will have listened to it. But that's like my day today.
So yeah, this just dropped, and I'm on a track with Jamie Madrox, Boondocks, and Bones Dub, and it's the perfect track for him to put me on. Jamie hit me up and said, "Hey, do you want to do this track?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And it's right up my alley with the life roller coaster type shit. It's it's not really necessarily a Halloween song, but it definitely has the fall vibe to it. The
Yep.
whole album has that fall vibe to it, and so any chance I get to be a part of something like that is awesome to me. So that's the second Songs of Sam Hain that I'm on. I was on Cult of Night, which was last year's release, and that was a song with Buckshot and Cody Manson and Axe Murder Boys and Jamie Madrox, and that's out on all streaming networks now, and so is this one, The Liminal Space. And
If you're in
what
Australia
else?
and you're watching this, you can pick them up from Magic Ninja Australia store, by the way. Just check that
Absolutely,
out.
Ned definitely has a stockpile of those, so make
Ned's
sure
got
you
the
get them while you
hookup.
can. Oh, the actual physical CDs are only available till Halloween, so you have to find it digitally if you didn't
After
get it
that.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my album is almost done. I've been working on it for a very, very long time, almost 10 years now, which is ridiculous to me. But I've been doing music here and there with other people and other things, so I've stayed busy. But now I'm finally finishing my album in November. Fritz the Cat is helping me mix everything. I got
Fritz
a
the
lot of
Cat.
production.
Nice.
I got a lot of production from Fritz. I don't know if you ever heard of Ajax and the Midwest Connoisseurs, but Ajax is a big name in the underground. I got a couple beats from him on there. I got a track with Mr. Gray. I got a track with Blaze and ROC, which is the song Chambers, which you guys have heard. And I got a new song with Jamie Madrox that's called Bury It. It's a very, very, what's the word for it? Mental health type song.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot about, it was a, about my depression, about coming out of my own funk that I was in. So that song still needs to be mixed. But next month in November, I'm going to be doing all the mixing, finishing everything. If all goes correctly, I should be able to release Scales, my new full length album, in February. So
Awesome. There you
I have a
go.
lot.
You got that February.
Yeah,
Heard it here
February,
first.
hopefully that's coming out.
right. And
Is that
I
an
finally just
exclusive?
started
Can we send that to
releasing.
like Fago lovers and be like, oh, y'all get this news?
I mean, you can say whatever you want.
We got a
I've started
hashtag
putting out
Fago on
flyers.
this one.
Yeah, hey, Fago lovers, that's the homies too. Scotty D and everybody over at that whole team, man. They've had our backs for a long time. So, yeah. So Scales
Scales.
should be
February.
17 tracks.
Meaty.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
a lot of the singles. There's like 5 or 6 singles on my Spotify now that are out from the album. So, you can hear a good chunk of it already done. Those tracks that are out on Spotify will be revamped and mixed properly for the release. And I have some plans that I'm hoping to work into things with the release of the album. So keep my fingers crossed to everything goes my way for that. I got the right people in my corner. Jamie's got my back on some things. They've helped me out with a lot of things. So I'm just ready to be done with this album.
Yeah.
But it's taken this long because this is where it needs to be at this point. It's
Awesome.
like it fell into place.
Keen for that.
And,
Very keen for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's really what I got that's coming out.
Cool. Awesome. Well, keep an eye out for that album. Scales coming out hopefully in February. You're gonna have to be on check the website, or I know you still don't have your Facebook pages back. You had a whole bunch of dramas with that. I went on that today, and there was like a bunch of like treasure hunting videos or some shit getting posted on there.
Okay.
And then
some dude from another country. I
hacked your
forget where
Facebook or some shit.
we tracked his IP address to the Philippines, I think. And so Facebook is literally doing nothing to help me get my shit back, and it's really frustrating. I had all my homies fucking reporting the page and trying to get it taken down, and I believe that Facebook is ran by bots now. So it's like,
pretty much, it's so big.
AI.
Like you can't have enough people working there to run a platform.
right,
like
absolutely.
It's
So
all
there's no way to contact them. I can't call anybody. I can't get through to anybody. Nobody. There's no way to really claim my page back because they've took me off as an admin, and I have no way to say that this is me. And when I try to start a new Insane E page, they say that I'm trying to pretend that I'm Insane E. And I'm like, man, I got my website, I got my Spotify, I got my
Yeah.
Instagram. How the fuck can you not see that this is me?
Yeah.
You know,
So
that
get on
picture is
what's
me.
so what's the Instagram handle? So if people follow you
Yeah.
over
The
there, will get
real
all that stuff.
Insane E is my Instagram. The real
Real
Insane E.
insane E.
The Real Insane E. And also, like we said
Yep.
before, www.therealinsaneeric.com.
Yep.
That's the website. So that'll have all the news on it for people
Yeah.
as well.
And
Get
I've
over
been
there and order
updating
your
that.
coloring books.
Yep, I've been updating the website a little bit more. I just finally added some photos on there, like a whole page of photos. I'm updating the album discography. My discography on there is starting to become a little more updated. And then, I'll keep putting flyers and stuff up on there too to keep people updated. So that you can link to my merch website from there. All things linked to my website, therealinsaneeric.com.
Yeah,
Or you can find me at
yeah.
Eric Shetler, Shetler on Facebook.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, that's
Nice.
everything there. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
us, man. We really, really
We
appreciate
do,
that.
man.
We
That's
might,
such
No,
a good
thank-
chat.
Yeah, thank you
Always
guys.
love
I know
getting
we
these
could do this. We could do this
internationals
for a while, right? I
Oh,
could
bro,
talk to
we
you
can
guys
keep
forever.
going for ages,
We'll
man.
get
We
you on
absolutely
again.
could.
We'll
We
get you
will.
on
We'll
again.
definitely get you on again at some point. We'll try and do this for sure. We'll get you back on to
I'm
maybe when the
always
album
down.
comes out. Maybe when the album comes out.
That'd be great.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
that's a
it.
good idea.
Once we've had
Well,
a chance to listen to that and everything for sure. But yeah, dude, shoot us through that old stuff, man. I'm keen to hear that. I'll keep it like just for
Between
us,
us.
but,
I'll send you a link.
but that'll be hilarious, man. But yeah, go and check out all of Insane E's stuff.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Like we
You'll
said,
seriously
he's
love
got
it.
his artwork all over the place. You can see it on all those different ones we talked about. Thank you so much, man. Like, it was amazing to talk to you
Thank you.
again. I'm so glad that that we got to chat and meet at Astronomicon, and then we talk about this stuff. And you know what? I'm guessing you're gonna be at Astro 7 next year as well. So
Absolutely.
if you're planning to go to
I'll be at every
Astronomicon,
Astronomicon until Astronomicon is no more, which
Yeah.
will never be.
so if you're going to be at Astronomicon this year, which is what, it's like mid-April or something this year, a little bit
April
later. So hopefully
12th through April 12th through the 14th, I believe.
Awesome,
There we
yeah,
go.
April 12th through 14th. So if you're going to be there for that one, go and say hi to Eric. Buy him a drink. Buy some of his CDs. Buy some of his coloring books.
Yeah, man.
Because the guy deserves it. He works fucking hard. And we're out of here for now. But thank you so much,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Take care of yourselves. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.